There's a question that's been bothering you for a while now. What was the Lubbock Lights? Was it real? To answer that, let's take a trip back to the past. It's now August 25, 1951. You're now sitting in a backyard with 3 Texas Tech University professors. You were all enjoying gazing at the night sky until you saw it. You saw several lights as bright as stars but larger fly overhead. Baffled with what you just saw, you and the professors discussed the sighting. But while you were debating, another similar group of lights flew overhead. The name of the professors you were with are A.G. Oberg, chemical engineer, W.L. Ducker, chemical engineer, and W.I. Robinson, geologist. The 3 men you were with are highly educated in their respective field. They're not just some random nutjob reporting strange lights. Knowing this, you went with W.I. Robinson to report the sighting to the local newspaper called the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. It's now August 30, 1951. You befriend a college freshman named Carl Hart and decide to go back to his house. But while there, you and Hart encounter strange lights flying overhead in a V formation. Hart's first reaction was to grab his camera and wait for the lights to pass by again. As luck would have it, you and Carl Hart managed to capture the strange lights on camera. After having the photos developed, you and Carl Hart took them to the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. The images were soon reprinted in newspapers around the nation. At this point, you're probably thinking that the Hart photographs are gaining traction. And you're right, they were. So much so that the United States Air Force actually conducted a formal investigation on these strange lights. And the person in charge of this investigation was called Edward J. Ruppelt. Edward J. Ruppelt would release a written statement to the press. It said that the photographs were neither proven to be real or a hoax. It's now September 1951. Somehow, you managed to convince Edward J. Ruppelt to bring you along to his final investigation on the Hart photographs. Both of you traveled to the city of Lubbock to interview the professors who first spotted the strange lights. Ruppelt's conclusion was that the professors had seen a type of bird called a plover. You remember that the belly of plovers can actually reflect light onto the streets, which can make it look like strange lights flying overhead. But that still doesn't explain how a bird can look so huge and bright from close up and make no noise when seemingly disappearing. The explanation to you is off. Something is missing, but you just don't know what. If only you could put your finger on it. You look to Ruppelt's final statement for closure. They were not birds, refracted light, or spaceships. They were positively identified as a very commonplace and easily explainable natural phenomenon. It is unfortunate that I can't divulge exactly how the answer was found, because it is an interesting story of how a scientist set up complete instrumentation to track down the lights, and how he spent several months testing theory after theory until he finally hit upon the answer. Telling the story would lead to his identity, and in exchange for his story, I promised the man complete anonymity. But he fully convinced me he had the answer, and after hearing hundreds of explanations of UFOs, I don't convince easily. Sadly, your journey has come to an end. Hopefully you now have a better idea of what were the Lubbock Lights. It's time to leave you at your final destination.